Good morning, Coach. And
Good morning.
for this special, good morning. And for this special episode, episode 10 of the Red Zone Report. Good morning to Vince Gagné, President of Friends of McGill Football, joining us today. How are you, Vince?
Very good, thanks, and good morning to you guys. And first, and Andrew, I just wanted to thank you and thank Coach Alex for the season, all the episodes I watched, and this is a tremendous way to communicate on the inside football. And again, thanks for the commitment, the time. It's always tough, I'm sure, for Coach Alex to squeeze like 15, 20 minutes during the season, but much appreciated.
It's
Oh,
always
you're
a
more,
pleasure. It's
yeah.
always a pleasure, guys.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. The pleasure's been all mine. Like to get to chat with Alex every week about the games that just happened and coming up. I mean, like this has been a real thrill for me to be very, very honest with you guys. So thank you very much. And it all started out of an idea like you and I talking, Vince, about what we can
Over a
do to.
beer.
Yeah. So this has been super. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Okay, so um, not the reason why Vince is here, but we decided to mix it up, seeing as the season's come to a close here. We'll mix it up Montreal style, as Vince has mentioned before. What we're going to do is Vince will jump in anytime he wants. And I thought we'd, Vince, jump in with your French questions or French comments, and then Coach Alex can answer in French, and then I'll stay on the English track, and we'll go that way. And anyways, because I've had so many parents and alumni come up to me at the games, sort of say, well, so many, tens of people come up to me and say, thanks so much for doing this. And of course, some of them are francophone, some of them are anglophone, and it's just a great mix. And I just thought we'd get Vince involved here. So, game review Saturday, November 1st, 3 p.m. at Quebec City, Stade Thalys with Les Rouges et Or. Coach, we made things interesting. I mean, the game was sensational for the first quarter in my mind. So, what other than the first touchdown that was scored which was one of the most electric plays I've ever seen, sort of in a football game, from a quarterback, and as the line was stacked in the middle there, they knew what was happening, they knew what was coming. That was just an unbelievable play. So uh, I'll throw it to you, Coach, and just talk a little bit about the whole game, that play, maybe a little bit, and the whole game.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, definitely a fast start for us, which was really nice if you compare to the semifinal that we played last year. Great progress on that side. Now the win for the people that were not in Quebec City, the win was a huge factor in this game. Laval in the first half decided not to take the ball, but to take the win for the second quarter. So we started the game with the win in our bag for the first quarter, and we knew that we had to be really clutch early to be able to stay in that game as long as possible. So that first quarter was near from perfection on our side, where we were able to score both times, two times offensively, and defense was able to slow down the offense of Laval just enough to keep them at zero. And now, speaking about the specific play, well, I think it was second and 7 or second and 8, something like that. We know that Laval likes to play variation of match and men coverages, which means that you have a lot of eyes of defensive backs like Vincent, who are running after a receiver or looking at a receiver, and not as many guys having their eyes in the backfield on our quarterback, especially. So that's why in the RPO game we like to have multiple options all the time. They were defending the pass well on that play, but they were a bit more vulnerable in the box where we had a numbers advantage, as simple as that. And as everyone know by now, Eloa is absolutely dangerous with his legs. You never know when he can hit it for a big play like that, and that's the a type of a strategy that he got better towards this during the season. He was not as good last year to read it, especially the type of play. Was not as good last year also to run it vertical, and that's the key part of that play where you don't want to be running east-west. You need to be running north-south when you take that decision. And as you guys saw, I think that they had absolutely zero players between the hash for the 68 or 70 yards run that it was. So it was a good a great play by him, no doubt about that. Now after that first quarter, as everyone know, I think that we. With the win in our face, it's tougher to play offensively, tougher to play on special teams when you try to punt the ball and stuff like that. And so it was a big task that we had to ask our defense to try to hold us as much as possible in the game. And it was the least that we can say, it was a very tough second quarter, right? So we allowed 32 points. For me, a key moment in this quarter, though, is we had our opportunity to make plays offensively on deep passes just before their last touchdown. So at that point, score is probably like something like 25-14, right? So probably a key moment, a turning point in the game where if we were able to catch either of those passes and possibly finish that drive, do they have the time to score at the end of the half like they did? I'm not sure. So like best case scenario would have been maybe like a deficit of 25-21 at the half. Now it was worst case scenario with a 32-14 deficit at the half, and then after that, when you play over there, it's really never easy to play and come back. Asking our offense to score 33 points or more against a great defense like Laval is near to impossible. So we were able to move the ball decently in the third quarter. We had a field goal after that, but for the defense did a better job in the second half, of course, a little bit. But at the end of the day, we were not able to come back in this one. Not totally, but overall for me, still a way better semifinal performance compared to last season where we totally fall apart. We had a lot of players very, very nervous. Now I found that everyone kind of stay locked in during the game. We still did a lot of mistakes. We missed tackles. We dropped balls, like I just mentioned. But overall, it was a better effort. Now, defensively, we can speak more about it now. But defensively, we have to mention that we lost our weak halfback, our will linebacker, our Sam linebacker, our strong halfback, and our dime safety only against Concordia the week before. Mm-hmm. So we were getting in this game with a defense missing a ton of players, and I'm not even mentioning guys like Mathis Pilon who have been missing for probably near 2 months now. So it was of course a very tough challenge for our defense to try to keep us in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all season. We don't use the injuries as excuses, but it was a fact of life. And when you're playing against the team,
and now we can a bit more.
Yeah, and let's be honest. When you're playing against a team like Laval, Montreal as well. I mean, any of the teams in our division. I mean, you've got to be near perfect to even be close. And that's what we were, and jumped out to a great lead. It was a great start. The finish the end wasn't what we wanted, but like you said, a caught pass here and there, and maybe a tackle here and there, and different ball game.
And it's difficult to defend against.
Vince, en français, s'il vous plaît. Vince, la raison que tu es ici, s'il vous plaît.
Mais c'est difficile de défendre contre un groupe de receveurs comme celui de Laval aussi, là, quand tu penses à Cool, Gaillardaise, Cochon, je veux dire, c'est vraiment un trio solide de receveurs de passe. Et puis Arnaud Desjardins, la chimie depuis plusieurs années. Puis même Jérémy Ouellet a été capable de les trouver. Là, fait que c'est extrêmement difficile, surtout quand tu as le vent dans le dos, là, de défendre contre des joueurs de cette qualité-là.
Ouais, c'était une offensive qui était en santé. Défensivement, il y avait quelques absences dans la tertiaire. On a des gars comme Arnaud Laporte ou Édouard Bolduc dans la tertiaire qui sont absents pour le reste de l'année. Secondaire, extérieur, Ndeki, numéro 21, qui est un excellent joueur qui ne jouait pas non plus.
Mhm.
Mais évidemment, c'est sûr qu'on c'est une équipe qui a plus de maturité que ce qu'on a en ce moment. J'ai un exercice mathématique à vous partager que j'ai fait dans les derniers jours. J'ai calculé
Cool.
le nombre de matchs joués par des recrues dans la saison 2025 pour chacune des
Okay.
5 équipes à travers les 8 matchs de la saison. Donc là, de mémoire, Laval a joué 59 matchs a joué 59 matchs ont été joués par des recrues. C'est un total de 66 pour Montréal, 82 pour Sherbrooke, 102 pour Concordia et, attachez-vous, 167 pour nos Redbirds de McGill. Donc, évidemment, ça démontre qu'on avait une jeunesse dans cet alignement-là. Jeunesse aussi qui explique peut-être aussi le grand nombre de blessures quand tu as 19 ans, 20 ans, puis tu joues contre des gars de 23, 24, 25 ans. Mais évidemment, physiquement, c'est un défi. Mais ça demeure de l'expérience de très, très, très haute qualité que nos nombreux jeunes ont été chercher cet automne.
That's
Great.
amazing. That's amazing too, Coach. When you're so as a coach, when you go and see recruits and you say to them, "Hey, you're a first-year player," on a lot of teams, you're not going to see the field, but you've got the proof in the pudding there that, like at McGill, anything's possible. If you're a real good football player, you might be seeing the field and a lot in some cases.
And to be honest with that, like I think that timing is everything. And
Yeah.
that's what I told a couple of recruits yesterday that were in our offices. So, of course, eventually it's going to be a lot tougher to be able to play as a recruit here at McGill because we want to
Yeah.
be able to compete and win a national championship eventually. So we won't be having 160 games played by recruits every year, right?
Hmm.
That would not make sense. But right now, as of right now, where we kind of have that hole in the roster where yes, we had a couple of fourth and fifth year players, but there's not a lot of second and third year player on that roster at all. Why? Because the recruiting in recent years was tougher, so we had
Yeah.
to patch that hole if you want, and that hole is not totally fixed in the sense that we're losing guys this year, right? And then we need to compete with the best, so we need to recruit the best like they're doing, right? It's not there's no a magic recipe there. Like Laval and Montreal are good because they recruit the best. If we do the same, we'll be the best too. That's as simple as that.
Et c'est
Yeah.
non seulement une question de recruter, mais c'est de développer ces joueurs-là, de les garder en classe et puis de s'assurer
Ouais,
que
ouais.
physiquement, ils
Real
se
balance,
développent.
though. Yeah.
Il faut qu'ils se développent
Absolument.
physiquement dans un système, comprennent le système. Et puis, c'est jamais une mauvaise chose d'avoir des recrues qui sont assis une
Ouais.
année et demie, plutôt que de les amener lorsqu'ils ne sont pas tout à fait prêts, là. Donc, de
Ouais.
toute façon, le futur est. On en reparle dans quelques minutes, là. On va parler de recrutement 2026, là, mais
Exactly.
le futur est beau.
Okay, before we leave the playoff discussion, Coach, going to put you on the spot a little bit here, not asking you to offend anybody or what have you, but let's hear your playoff predictions for RSEQ and then maybe on the national scene, what you think is going to happen there.
Prediction. I think that Laval is going to be tough to beat at home. As I mentioned regarding that defense, I think that they have the best defense this year. So for me, I would be surprised if Laval dropped that game to win the new Dussault Cup.
And no offense to Montreal, we're
No
not
offense
trying
to
to
Montreal, they have
make news here, but
no, they have a lot of firepower offensively. That's where Laval needs to be careful.
As Concordia found out last
Yeah.
week.
Exactly. Pepe Gonzalez is a tremendous quarterback. He's going to have a great career in this league, and he can do a lot. I think that he mentioned it in the papers where he needs to be careful by the way he's playing with the ball, in the sense that you don't want to be reckless and force turnovers over there. It's not a good place to force turnovers as a quarterback. You have to be patient, and I think that defensively, And on special teams, Montreal can compete with the offense and the special teams of Laval. So is it going to be a classic of 9-6 or 12-9 game? Hopefully for the fans, I hope it's going to be a better show than that. But if I had to bet right now, I would put a big $2 on Laval.
Cool.
And I would add quickly that no, I'll do this one. I'll do this one just to follow up.
Okay, go.
But, I find that Montreal's running game is probably not as efficient as Laval's. If you look at the stats, the two games they played one another, it seems that Montreal cannot run the ball as effectively as Laval. And the second thing is I find the mix of Arnaud Desjardins and Jérémy Ouellet, the backup quarterback at Laval, I see them as more potent than Pepe. So if Pepe runs into problems, it's going to be a long game. Their backup quarterback is not as stellar, and Ouellet demonstrated that he can run the ball. So you have this mix of pocket quarterback who's very accurate, very steady, and this kid that comes over and mixes things up. So interesting to see what the weather will be like on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't checked, but if it's raining, if it's windy again, might be a tough challenge for Montreal.
Yep.
And Coach, I have no idea about the national scene, but based on your experience and what you've seen this year, can you give us a little feel for what you think might happen on the national scene here?
It's funny because I had the I don't know if it's the privilege or it's I guess it's not good when you're eliminated, but I had as a head coach to evaluate all Canadian nominees tapes. So I saw a lot of players in the last 72 hours. I think that Laurier looks like a team really tough to beat in the OUA. I think we have the battle of Saskatchewan in Can West between U of Sask and Regina. To be honest, I saw good players on both sides, so tougher to predict there. And in the Maritimes, I think that St. Marie's have been having a good year. They had a lot of players on that AUS All-Star team. So I would probably the thing is though, with the lack of parity in this league, like I still see after that probably Can West, whoever it is, winning against. In fact, correction. Quebec is playing against AUS, so whoever is going to be playing AUS, sorry AUS, but Quebec's going to win, and then it's going to be probably really interesting matchup between Laurier and whoever is going to win in the Can West. Now I would probably give a hedge to Laurier. So is it going to be a back-to-back Laurier-Laval matchup? Possibly. And after that, I like to always bet on the RSEQ because when we recruit out of province, we tell the kids that the RSEQ is the best league in the nation, and we firmly believe that. So whoever is getting out of Quebec is going to have my support for the rest of the road.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Laurier plays Queens, by the way, Andrew.
Yeah.
So it's Laurier, Queens, Saint-FX, St. Mary's, and Regina, Saskatchewan.
I can say that Ethan Jordan, receiver from Laurier, is a special player. He's a Heck Creighton nominee, and he's really, really good.
Nice.
Outstanding. Okay, Coach. So let's do this a little Montreal style. We're going to go for our last Red Zone report of the year. We might, in terms of reviewing the games and previewing games, we might bring it back with some other interviews in the coming weeks. But we're going to go for our little final segment here. We're going to do a little question and answer. Vince, yours in French, mine in English. And we're just going to throw some questions at you and have some fun with it. So, Vince, the floor is yours for your questions.
Moi, je voulais t'amener, Alex, sur la classe de 2026 en termes de recrutement au niveau cégep, évidemment, au niveau à l'extérieur du Québec aussi. Là, en général, qu'est-ce que tu vois pour cette classe en 2026 là? Beaucoup, beaucoup de talent à travers tout Division 1, 2, 3 ou c'est une année moyenne, on va dire.
Ça dépend des positions. Tu vois, je crois que notamment la position de receveur en ce moment, c'est quand même une bonne année, spécifiquement en Division 2. On a eu des bonnes réponses récemment qui seront annoncées dans les prochains jours. On en a déjà annoncé deux bons receveurs en Olivier Jean de Montmorency et James Rytle de John Abbott, qui sont, à mon avis, parmi les trois meilleurs, quatre meilleurs qui sortaient de la province cette année. Donc, quand somme toute, une bonne année à la position de receveur. Un carrière plutôt mince. C'est pas une grande cuvée. C'est une position où soyez pas surpris si on essaie d'amener quelqu'un qui vient de l'extérieur de la province. Donc ça, c'est ce qu'on regarde. Offensive line, c'est pas aussi une cuvée qui est très, très, très nombreuse. On est somme toute en bonne position avec deux excellents candidats. Un qui est au Québec, puis l'autre en ce moment qui est aux États-Unis. Porteur de ballon, pas une très grande cuvée non plus en termes de nombre. Il y a quand même de la qualité pour quelques individus, mais c'est pas des numbers épouvantables. Puis après ça, en défensive, ben, je pense que le plus grand besoin qu'on a est définitivement au niveau des demi-défensifs. Je pense qu'on a fait beaucoup d'efforts de recrutement, particulièrement sur la ligne défensive en 2025, où on va continuer à ajouter des atouts, dont un qu'on va être capable d'annoncer probablement peut-être au cours du week-end ou la semaine prochaine. Puis, ma demi-défensif est définitivement, à mon avis, l'endroit où on se doit de s'améliorer le plus. Il y a du talent cette année au Québec. On est en bonne position avec des joueurs élites. Qu'on essaie de convaincre de s'en venir avec nous. On se bat évidemment contre Laval et Montréal pour la majorité de ces gars-là, donc c'est des chaudes batailles de recrutement. Puis ça sera à voir ce qui va se passer dans les prochains jours. Mais tu sais, on devrait être capable, on a annoncé déjà il y a quelques semaines des gars aussi qui étaient des Américains ou des gars qui sont un peu plus à l'extérieur. On va continuer à avoir une certaine diversité overall dans les gens qu'on va recruter. On a beaucoup d'intérêt qui vient du BC cette année, notamment. On en a parlé hier avec les coordonnateurs, des gars du BC qui s'intéressent à notre programme. Donc, ça va être intéressant à suivre dans les prochaines semaines.
OK. Donc, des voyages encore prévus dans le nord-est américain pour certains des coachs là, pour aller.
Ouais, soit ça, ou en fait, peut-être le chemin inverse, rendu à ce temps-ci de l'année, où certains veulent venir visiter nos installations de façon plus officielle. Je pense que le prep tour qu'on a fait au printemps dernier pourrait payer un peu plus d'avantages cette année. On verra si ça se confirme. On a des discussions intéressantes avec des jeunes qui, généralement, vont peut-être considérer un peu plus les Hy-Vee teams, ou la ligue qui s'appelle la NESCAC là-bas, qui est un peu une ligue Hy-Vee de deuxième ordre, si vous voulez. Puis là, ben, les gens s'aperçoivent que McGill, c'est pas si loin que ça de chez nous. Puis c'est une ville vraiment intéressante, Montréal. Donc, on a quand même des attraits, des arguments de vente qui sont intéressants.
Ouais, merci. Andy.
Okay. Graduating class of 2025. I'm not familiar with who has committed to coming back, who is not eligible to come back. So just run down some names for us who
Yeah,
might possibly be back.
yeah. So I'll start with the offense, where, of course, starting with the quarterback, with Hillawa being a good CFL prospect, really tough to predict if he's going to be back or not next year. He has the interest to come back. He was part of that team meeting with possible returning players that we had not later than last night. So we don't know for him yet. Brendan Ciccarello announced that he was coming back for his fifth, which is great, great news at the
Yeah.
running back position.
Yeah.
We're really happy about that. Offensive line is probably the spot where we lose the most, with Domenico Piazza, Zach Aboud, and Efo Leclerc, who will not come back for his fifth. So possibly three guys leaving at that position there. And then after that, we have on the D line, I think we have Jonathan Montour and Teddy Charlot only that are leaving. Linebacker position, Ilan Barbaras has one more year to go, but as of right now, I'm not sure he's going to come back. He has graduated already. And defensive back, we are losing, of course, Ryan McNally, very possibly Janai Taj, Copeland Lewis, Thomas Raphael is also another senior, and I don't have the list in front of me, but on top of my head right now, this is the guys that we would be losing that were the most involved on the field.
Yeah, and at receiver, you'd have like
Oh yeah, I forgot receiver.
David.
Sorry. So
No,
David
man.
Amani, Josh Campbell. Now Darius
Ouais.
Simmons. Darius Simmons. It's a sad and a funny story at the same time. Where even if he's getting older and everything, with his injury, he did not consume his last year of eligibility because he played only for one game. We have not. We spoke briefly about it. I don't know about his intention for the future, but that's a guy that could come back for his fifth next year if he wants it. Like he has the right to do it if he wants.
Okay, you mentioned Dom there on the offensive line. We'll use that to segue into another question I have. So we should mention our league all-stars. Dom was one of them. Mario
Yeah,
was one of them.
yeah.
I apologize. Two others. We have four,
Janai
right? Janai, right? Sorry.
and Jerry Momo, that was
Right,
an all-star, but also named the offensive rookie of the year.
right. Not to create waves here or anything. You feel anybody was left out there that maybe Redbirds could have had as a
No, I don't. I
league
don't think
all-star?
so. I won't be creating waves too much because no, I don't think
Hmm.
so. It's a competitive league, and the thing is we had so many injuries. Like if
Yeah,
I can
Yeah,
talk about a guy like Ambroise Duplessis Giroux, if he can dress for all the games, is he the defensive rookie of the year? Most likely, right? But now
maybe. Yeah.
I think he dressed for five, and he actually played healthy for three only out of those
Mhm.
five. So it was tough for him to put up the stats. So no, really, I don't think that everyone was left behind too much.
if I
Okay.
can add on this side, I'd say yeah, injuries for sure. Mathis Pilon, like leaving early
Yeah,
in the season. This guy is stellar. I mean, in terms of speed,
yeah,
athleticism.
yeah.
I thought,
Darius Simmons, an LT Darius Simmons is a almost a guaranteed at the All
All-star.
Canadian
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
Star and All Canadian for
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
years.
yeah,
A guy like Antonio Joffre had a good season, but missed the first two
mm,
games, I think,
yeah,
of the season. So he played six only. So of course, after that, when you try to he was in the discussion at the receiver position, but he didn't receive any enough votes to be on the All Star team. Maybe he
mm,
finished like sixth or something like that when they take four.
Yeah.
I don't think it was unfair for him, just that he doesn't have the production to be there.
and we see guys pointing maybe for next year. Like I know Victor Paradis missed the last game, but Philippe Bouteau, Victor Paradis. I mean, they're in the mix to become superstars in the
Yeah,
league. Again, they
yeah,
need to stay healthy. They need
yeah,
to be in the gym, improve. But man, they play well. They
yeah,
cover a lot of ground and make
yeah.
tackles, right?
Okay. Speaking of not making any waves here, this is not a gotcha question in terms of we're firing people or anything, but I just wanted to ask if you know of any coaching changes on your staff that are coming up voluntarily. Guys have to leave the program, got new jobs, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So D-line coach, full-time D-line coach Khalid Hicks announced his departure yesterday in front of the team. He has an opportunity to become a kinesiologist at Collège Villa Maria, full-time job over there for him. And it's a new job, if I understand correctly. So a good opportunity for him
Congrats. Yeah.
to build his stuff over there. And his wife is also working there. So I think that for his young family, it's a good fit. So we wish him the best and we thank him for the years that he gave to the program.
Fantastic.
Et
Okay.
Andy, j'ajouterais juste une chose,
Go, go, go.
en fait, quand Alex et moi, on s'est rencontrés il y a quoi là maintenant, presque 2 ans,
Ouais,
euh, sur la façon dont tu dois reconstruire, rebâtir une équipe, tu sais, la qualité du recrutement pour les joueurs, la rétention, le développement de ces joueurs-là est super importante. C'est la même chose côté coaching. Puis on le voit là, avec les programmes qui sont les meilleurs dans la RSEQ. Puis même, on va dire aussi un peu peut-être moins avec Sherbrooke et Concordia, mais quand même, il y a une stabilité au niveau du coaching staff. Le fait d'avoir des coachs sur le long terme, c'est un plus, évidemment.
Absolument.
Puis vraiment, merci à Khalid parce qu'il a vécu la transition. Il était avec l'ancien coaching staff.
Ouais, je me rappelle
Puis,
dans mes premières semaines, mes premiers mois, j'allais souvent voir Khalid pour poser des questions parce qu'il était le seul qui savait ce qui se passait dans le building, tu sais, donc avec son expérience. Donc, il m'aurait été d'une grande utilité pour ça, c'est certain.
c'est ça. Et puis là, ben maintenant, il faut ouvrir la porte à quelqu'un qui va avoir le même désir, le même goût d'amener ce programme-là
Ouais.
au prochain niveau, puis d'être capable de rester avec la famille jusqu'à temps qu'on voit ce succès-là.
Ouais.
Okay, two more questions, Coach. As always, you're so generous with your time. I love this going on a little bit longer because during the season, I try to keep it like 15 minutes, no longer, and because I know how busy you are, but this is fun. Um, Before I ask my last question, just a question regarding the announced CFL changes. Have we heard anything more about that in terms of the field changes or what's happening, how it affects everyone else, us?
No, we had an important U Sports online meeting with all the coaches and ADs and the direction of U Sports. So as of right now, I think that everyone was kind of blindsided by that CFL news, which is surprising. I think I wish that we would be able to discuss this all together, including them, because of course it has if we move forward with this, eventually it's going to have a major impact on Canadian football. So for me right now, and I'm speaking from my name only, it looks very unlikely in the sense that
Mm.
if you start thinking about changing the field of 27 universities to be ready to play for, let's say, a 2027 season. So when are you doing this? Who are the companies that can do that? What are you doing with teams like Laval or Montreal who just spent 2 million on a brand new turf? Like
And who would pay for it? I mean,
who would pay for it? Definitely
yeah.
not the CFL, right? So it makes absolutely no sense for me. And we all have to understand that some teams like us have a partnership with a CFL team. We're 4 out of their 9 teams that have a
Mhm.
partnership in some kind of way. So how do you deal with that, right? If the U Sports is not following what the CFL wants to do, and then some U Sports teams have also partnership with CJET teams like Bishops and Lennoxville, as an example, or probably a lot of OUA or CanWest or AUS teams with some high school teams. So now are we starting to discuss the possibility of changing the rules for everyone in the country at the same time? Like, how is that doable, right? So I'm still really skeptical, and I don't see how we could really move forward with that anytime soon. Now, the next step for me and for us as head coaches, we have our CUFCA meeting, which is our Canadian Association of Head Coaches in Regina. So 2 days before the Vanier Cup. So I'm gonna have to travel to beautiful Regina in a couple of weeks for that meeting, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the main. Well, it is a main point, one of the main point of discussion. So we'll know more in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a little
Yeah, I'm just,
Bush League, CFL Bush
yeah,
League, right?
yeah, I'm just gonna say it like it was such a weird rule change situation. If
Mm.
anything, we were expecting maybe the change from three to four downs, whatever, like, but
Yeah.
then to change the field structure. Anyways,
And
okay.
I won't say his name, but in the discussion that we have with U Sports, I had one of my colleagues from CanWest who said, "Who is telling us that the CFL will not decide to, let's say, change to 4 down in American field in 5 years or 7 years or 10 years? Like this is like where are we going with this? This is where it's kind of uncertain right now for me."
Yeah. All right, last question. Okay, and this is you can answer micro, macro. It's a wish list for you if you had a wish list, just in terms of larger discussions, the way you recruit, the way we function on game day, like the visitors on the far side of the field, that happened this year. Apparel, anything. If you could wave a magic wand and sort of say, okay, next year or in the coming years, I would love to see this at McGill or this in the RSEQ or this in CIAU, and we're not going to let you say field changes. Give us a sort of a wish list of things that could change and it would be fun for you.
I'm gonna say two things. First thing, we're all in the middle of it with the locker room. I think improving the locker room for us is really important. We launched a campaign to finance it, and Vincent is working a lot and working the phone with Mr. Claghorn and GP Dash, who are co-chair of this project. So I thank them a lot for that. Thank you, Vincent, for this, and like we're excited that we're able to pull the trigger in future weeks and months regarding this. And the second thing for me, and I think it's really like a McGill thing, like we need to improve the way our game experience, and we've
Game
been
day.
talking a lot. Yeah, game day needs to get better, and I think we have a lot of good ideas about that. We had the first tailgate in I don't know how many years recently with homecoming, but like for me, it needs to expand. We need to use the park. We need to be more involved with the students and the faculties, the student associations, to make sure that we go from the 3,800 mark that we had this year, and we try to rise that to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I'm a dreamer. Like I see that Percival Molson Stadium full eventually. And with 40,000 students at McGill, I think we can do that.
Outstanding. Vince, anything to add?
I was just going to add, I mean, I meet from time to time anyone at McGill, working at McGill, or anyone I can meet around that remember being at the Percival Molson Stadium in the late 60s, early 70s, and they were in crowds of 10, 12,000, right? And back in my days, obviously we had Queens rivalry that was to the top, and so the students were all in the building. Queens would come to town with like 50, 60 buses, and so there's hope that we can build on the ideas that Alex has just mentioned, and we need to. I mean, that's a revenue source. It's also a source of pride for the university, and we have only 4 home games. We need to be better overall for those 4 games for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And we know that the university is speaking a lot about student wellness, about student experience right now. Had the chance to meet Pierre Boivin, our new chancellor, recently. We spoke about that. He's going to be part of a committee that has the mandate to work on the next decade at McGill regarding athletics and everything. So we're hopeful that we can improve the product right now.
Great stuff. And again, I'm going to we'll wrap it up now. This red zone report here. I was telling Vince before we started that I don't check the numbers of people that viewed. As we mentioned at the beginning, maybe it's in the hundreds, 100, who knows? But it's been my privilege and pleasure to do this almost every week with you, except for the bye weeks, Coach. So thank you very, very much. So for Friends of McGill Football, I'm Andy Brookman. That's Vince Gagné, Coach Alex Surprenant of the McGill Redbirds. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Salut Andy. Merci. Salut Alex.
Bye-bye.